Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopinath Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Nachira Panachari Nachira Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharsha Astotra Sutta Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharsha Astotra Sutta Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananti Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Kidi Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sri Navadvip Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Dwarka Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai. Gauda Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yat sevaya charana padma pavitra renum. Sadyakshata kilamalam pratilabda shilam. Nasrir viraktam apimam Vijahati yasya. Preksha lavartha itade niyaman bahanti. Yat sevaya charana padma pavitra renum. Sadyakshata kilamalam pratilabda shilam. Nasrir viraktam apimam vijahati yasya. Raksha lavartha itade niyaman bahanti. Yat sevaya charana padma pavitra renum. Sadyakshata kilamalam pratilabda shilam. Nashrir viraktam apimam vijahati yasya. Preksha lavarta itade niyaman vahanti. Ladies, yet of whom sevaya, by the service, charana, feet, padma, lotus, pavitra, sacred, renum, the dust, sadhya, immediately, kshata, wiped out, akila, all, malam, sins, pratilabdha, acquired, shilam, disposition, na, not Shri Viraktam, have no attachment. Api, even though, Mam, me, Vijahati, leave, Yasya, of the goddess of fortune, Prekshalava Artha, for obtaining a slight favor. Itare, others like Lord Brahma, Niyaman, sacred vows, Bahanti, observe. The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The relationship between the Lord and His devotee is transcendently beautiful. As the devotee thinks that it is due to being a devotee of the Lord that he is elevated in all good qualities, so the Lord also thinks that it is because of his devotion to the servitor that all his transcendental glories have increased. In other words, as the devotee is always anxious to render service to the Lord, so the Lord is ever anxious to render service to the devotee. The Lord admits herein that although he certainly has the quality that anyone who receives a slight particle of the dust of his lotus feet becomes at once a great personality, this greatness is due to his affection for his devotee. It is because of this affection that the goddess of fortune does not leave him, and that not only one, but many thousands of goddesses of fortune engage in his service. In the material world, simply to get a little favor from the goddess of fortune, people observe many rigid regulations of austerity and penances. The Lord cannot tolerate any inconvenience on the part of the devotee. He is therefore famous as Bhakta Vatsala. Om Agyantimidandasya Jnananjanat Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tatati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Judhapadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Advaitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Bharichana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padaham Sahakana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostete Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastakyati Satarine. I extend my sincere gratitude to all of the assembled devotees. Thank you for gathering together at Shri Radha Gopinath community. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 16, entitled Jai and Vijay Cursed by the Sages. Text number 7. The scheduled verse for today was from a previous chapter. And this book last night was put on my table. And I opened it up to this verse and the verses just before this. And I was thinking, this is such a perfect verse. And then I saw the sign that the class was another verse, describing why Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha came to this world. A verse describing in great detail the transcendental exchange between Kashyapa and Diti. And I was thinking, I'm leaving today for Calcutta and then for London and then for America, so this is a very nice verse. It's the same subject about the coming of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, but it's just going forward in the Bhagavatam, but back in time. This beautiful verse I will read again. The Lord continued, Because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sins. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her. And others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. In this and the previous chapter, we're reading about this historic event that took place at the gateway leading to Vaikuntha. The four Kumaras, they could travel anywhere they want. Although within the universe, they're among the oldest of all people. They're actually the elder brothers of Lord Shiva. They were born at the very beginning of the creation of the universe, directly from Lord Brahma. And Brahma's service, he has many services. One, he's an original guru of the universe. He had already performed tapasya. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, had given him essential instructions that would be the seed for the Vedic literatures. But he also had an administrative service where he was supposed to populate the universe on behalf of the Lord as the secondary creator, so that all the living beings, whatever their karmas may be, could come into this material existence and into this particular universe. So when the four Kumaras came, they decided, because they had such deep wisdom, they were actually Brahman realized how entangling material world is. And the entanglement is based on our desires. In this chapter, Srila Prabhupada describes the three enemies of this world: desire, anger, and lust. The six enemies that we often speak about: lust, desiring to enjoy separate from our natural spiritual constitutional position as servants of the Lord, striving to enjoy through this temporary covering of the mind and the body and senses. And when it is unfulfilled, there's frustration, anger. When people have more than we have, we become envious, maybe more skills, maybe more beauty, maybe more wealth, more fame, more knowledge, even more renunciation. And because the soul is seeking the ananda of Krishna, of loving service to Krishna, and experiencing Krishna's limitless love, nothing in this world can satisfy us. Therefore there's greed. We want more and more and more. It's insatiable. It is described Hiranyakashipu, who we're reading about his origin today. He had conquered a major portion of the universe. Indra and practically all demigods below Lord Brahma and Shiva, they had to be his obedient servant. Just by his desire, he had such mystic potency. He could control the weather. He had such powers. He had benedictions where he couldn't, practically he was convinced that he was immortal. But yet, with all this power and all this fame, he was never satisfied. He was always in anxiety because he couldn't control his own mind and senses. Such greed, and arrogance, and illusion. The four Kumaras, they decided, as soon as this passion, especially the passion for sex, enters into the mind, it's such a heavy distraction that's so difficult to overcome. But to speak of false pride, being very great, by their powers, can you imagine if you had the powers of the four Kumaras? Hiranyakashipu, he didn't even have their powers. And what did he ask for? The four Kumaras, they just wanted to be detached servants. By their powers, they remained as little children, 4 to 5 years old. So unsophisticated that they didn't even wear clothes. And they just wandered around. Yet they were so wise, they were so learned, they were so enlightened. They were actually senior. Besides Lord Brahma and a few others, they were senior to everyone else in the universe. And so extraordinarily learned and enlightened. And later on, they're so exalted that they're the founders of one of the 4 authorized sampradayas on the path of pure bhakti. In Vrindavan, one of the most influential sampradayas is the Nimbark Sampradaya. It's coming from the 4 Kumaras. So they could travel anywhere they want. And they came to Vaikuntha. And described in previous chapter, they passed through 6 of the gates of Vaikuntha. Then they came to the final 7th gate. And there were 2 gatekeepers, Jai and Vijay. Jai and Vijay, They were very great servants of the Lord. But sometimes the Lord along with the free will of a living being, has a design for wonderful pastimes. This is certainly a transcendental story. But even in these transcendental stories, there are essential lessons for us to learn. That's why the Lord stages them, to teach us and to fulfill the innermost desires of His devotees. Jai and Vijay, thinking it was their duty to enter into Vaikuntha, you have to be really a perfected Vaishnav. And here's 4 children. Looks like they're just playing around, roaming around. They just want to roam in. So if Jai and Vijay, with their clubs, they blocked the way and would not allow them to come in. And the 4 Kumaras, they were so eager to see the Lord. They wanted to teach Jai and Vijay a good lesson. It's very interesting. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, they were actually really in a mood of service. That Vaikuntha is a place where there's none of these dualities based on bodily designations. There's no place. Vaikuntha is a place where, because everyone's a devotee of the Lord with Krishna in the center of their life, there's harmony. The concept of unity and diversity. Whatever the bodily structure and everything, those who are devotees of the Lord, they live in harmony because that's what pleases the Lord. So these people, these 2 gatekeepers, they don't belong here. So they pronounced a curse, but it wasn't a curse to harm them. It was actually a proclamation that was meant to purify them and also to protect Vaikuntha from this type of disharmonious mentality of the bodily concept. They said, in the place of supreme harmony where Krishna is always, Narayan is always in the center, you don't belong here. You should become purified by going to the material world. When Jai and Vijay heard this, they became very sober, because little children don't proclaim curses like that. They became very sober. They realized these are actually really great sages. We thought they were little children. They're the oldest people in the universe after Brahma. And their prayer to the Kumaras is very interesting. They didn't pray to reverse the curse. Yes, we made an offense. We did wrong. What you're saying, we deserve. But please, in whatever situation we may fall into, Let us never forget the Supreme Personality of God. That was their prayer. And at that moment, seeing what was going on, the conflict among great devotees, Lord Vishnu, Narayan, came out from Vaikuntha to the gateway. And he was so beautiful. There's so many beautiful, wonderful verses describing the beauty of Lord Vishnu. His wonderful lotus eyes, his beautiful bluish complexion, every limb, just the essence and source of all beauty and creation. And when the four Kumars saw the beauty of Lord Vishnu as he was coming out, and he was coming with the goddess of fortune, the Kumaras were utterly immersed in a samadhi of ecstasy, seeing the Lord. And as they were gazing upon him, the most beautiful sight, they smelled the fragrance of the tulsi leaves that were decorating his lotus feet. And a breeze carried that fragrance, and they completely transformed. Previously, they were fully Brahman realization. They had no material desires. They had no false ego. They were fully satisfied in Brahman, in mukti. But upon seeing the beauty of the Lord and being totally absorbed, and in that state, the scent of the tulsi leaves that were decorating his lotus feet, their Brahman realization was utterly transformed. Can you imagine being Brahman realized and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead? What was their experience? But then even beyond that, when the Lord's mercy came through the fragrance of the tulsi leaves, then prema bhakti, the ultimate ecstasy of the soul, awakened in their hearts. And the four Kumaras, in that state of pure ecstatic love, are offering beautiful prayers to the Lord. And here the Lord is describing them. I'm going to read some of these prayers. Lord Brahma said, after thus congratulating the sages for their nice words, Kumaras had just praised the Lord. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose abode is the kingdom of God, spoke as follows. The Personality of Godhead said, these attendants of mine, Jai and Vijay, by name, have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me. This is the Lord's perception. Because the Lord loves his devotees so much. And actually, Jai and Vijay did make a mistake. They did have shortcomings. And because they committed an offense to the Kumaras, the Lord interpreted that as they were ignoring him. Similar to Durvasa Muni. By his anger and trying to hurt Ambarish Maharaj. And Ambarish Maharaj, from Durvasa's perspective, he did make a mistake. It could be debated whether it was technically a mistake or not. There's different interpretations. But he did it only, for the highest motivations of trying to respect a great sage and at the same time, be true to his vows to the Lord. But the Lord, how angry he was. And this is a very, very important principle. A great offense against you because of ignoring me. When we make an offense against a Vaishnava, we may do it in Krishna's service, but from Krishna's perspective, you could only do it if you're ignoring him. Because actually to truly remember the Lord for the pleasure of the Lord is to do what pleases the Lord. O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you who are devoted to me have meted out to them. To me, the Brahman is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen. Even though Jai and Vijay were wrong, they were on the bodily concept, they were evaluating a devotee according to their bodily features, rather than according to their character and their qualities. And this is such a vital principle that is throughout our scriptures. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he made the Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, who was essentially labeled by most of society as being an untouchable, a malecha, and a yavana, just by the origin of the family of his body. And he had no pride. He wasn't trying to prove himself. Outcasts were not allowed in Jagannath's temple. He never even attempted to go in. But Lord Jagannath himself, in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, would come out of the temple every day. Great Brahmins go into Jagannath's temple to receive Jagannath's prasad and to receive darshan. Haridas Thakur was so pure, he was so advanced, but he wasn't allowed in. And he didn't consider himself qualified. What an exalted position he was in. Every single day, Lord Jagannath directly came out of his temple with Mahaprasad from his altar and fed Haridas Thakur and spoke about Krishna with Haridas Thakur. That was a daily regulative part of Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya's life, is visiting Haridas. And Lord Chaitanya said about Haridas, your body is so pure that just by touching you, just by seeing you, I become purified. And Mahaprabhu proclaimed, anyone who even says Haridas Thakur's name with devotion, Krishna will give special devotional service. Just to think about him. But yet the majority of the population judged him by his bodily condition. There is that beautiful story in the house of Srivas. During the Mahaprakash, only the purest, most exalted devotees were allowed in Srivasangam at that time. It's not that anybody could just come in. In fact, so many learned scholars, pundits, and Brahmins, they were outraged because they were not allowed in Srivasangam during the kirtans. They were cursing Lord Chaitanya and cursing Srivas. In that one special time, Lord Chaitanya sat on the throne. And there was a beautiful abhishek. He allowed everybody to worship him according to their love and devotion. And he was manifesting the eternal forms of Krishna according to their rasas, according to their moods of devotion. And during that time, there was a 4-year-old girl, Narayani. And she was just sitting there, watching everything. She wasn't a great pundit like everyone else was. She wasn't an exalted avatar and acharya like everyone else was. She was just a little girl. She was a child. She was a girl. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he looked at Narayani. He said, Narayani, chant the names of Krishna and cry in ecstasy. And she began to cry in ecstasy, chanting the names of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would personally, with his own hands, feed his remnants to Narayani. And it is that Narayani, this little girl, She was kind of like one of the Kumaras. Like a Kumari. Same age, same innocence. Of course, the Kumaras were great sages, sons of Brahma. Narayani was the niece of Srivas Thakur. But when she grew up, her child is Vrindavan Das Thakur. I believe today is the disappearance day of Vrindavan Das Thakur. So we are remembering him in the context of this verse. Narayani was so very, very, very dear to Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and Srivas and every. Throughout the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's revealing the spiritual world. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jharikanda, he was inducing the tigers. Now previously, those tigers were definitely not vegetarians. Tigers, they not only eat meat, but vegetarian animals like deers, they kill them. They kill them and drink their blood and eat their flesh, and that's their greatest happiness. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he didn't have them following regulative principles. They were tigers. And yet, he would touch them with his lotus feet and tell them to chant the names of Krishna. Like he told Narayani to chant the names of Krishna. And they had the same response. The tigers would start weeping in ecstasy of love of Krishna and chant the holy names and dance. And then Lord Chaitanya would turn to the vegetarian deer and tell them to chant the names of Krishna. And they danced and they cried. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicated that deers, tigers, you are by nature enemies. For the deer, tiger is death personified. Nothing they fear more in the world than a tiger. Not only are they going to kill them, but mothers know they'll kill their children, they'll kill their husband, they'll massacre. Very difficult. And for the tiger, the deer is just something to exploit, kill, and enjoy. So you can't really get more inimical than their relationship. But when Lord Chaitanya wants to teach an example, he does it in such a graphic way. And according to the verse we just read, if we don't recognize the Lord's wish, then from his perspective, we are ignoring him. We can study so many scriptures and we could chant so many names of the Lord and we could be doing so many pujas and everything else. But if we're neglecting those who he loves, we're ignoring him. In other words, we're ignoring doing what the Lord wishes. Usually in this world, if we want to ignore someone, it doesn't mean we don't recognize their existence. It means we're going against their will. And that's the way he saw Jai and Vijay. They were ignoring him by not recognizing the devotion within the Kumaras. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jharkhand, he inspired so much love in the hearts of the tigers and the deers. They embraced. They were dancing together, embracing one another. They were kissing one another. There was nothing sexual about that. It was the way they showed affection. That was the way they were showing the highest level of affection for one another. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so pleased. And he cited a beautiful verse from Srimad Bhagavatam that this is the spiritual world. This is Vaikuntha. This is Vrindavan. Where there's such harmony within the hearts of people because Krishna is actually in the center. Because we're conscious of what pleases Krishna. Trinadapi sunichena taror ivasehishnana amanina manadena kirtaniya sadhari. To be more humble than a blade of grass, tolerant, forgiving, and giving like a tree. To find joy in offering respect to others. And when we actually find joy in respecting others, param dristvani vartate, we don't crave for respect ourselves. Because it's such a lower, illusory pleasure, the joy of being respected, in comparison to respecting the Lord in the heart of others. In this way, Mahaprabhu taught to chant the holy names. And in a beautiful purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada describes how there's a temple. He said we have that there is Vrindavan and there is New Vrindavan. And Srila Prabhupada said New Vrindavan is none different than Goloka Vrindavan. And I remember when I was reading that, I was living at New Vrindavan. I was thinking of all the devotees who live in so many temples all over the world, but this is none different than Goloka Vrindavan. But then the sentence carries on, and Srila Prabhupada says, actually, every one of our temples is non-different than Goloka Vrindavan. But then he made a condition. And this holds to whether it's New Vrindavan or New York or whatever. anywhere else. He said, when Krishna is in the center, when Krishna is in the center of the devotees' relationships with one another, and where there is that harmony, then that is none different than Goloka Vrindavan. So the Kumaras, in a certain way, they were seeing this disharmony, especially based on discriminating against people because of various external physical designations. Doesn't belong here, so they shouldn't be here. But here, Lord Chaitanya, here, Lord Vishnu, he's bringing another incredible lesson to meditate upon. Because Jai and Vijay were his servants, the mistake they made, the offense they made, the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally accepted the fault. If my servants make a mistake, I am responsible. And Lord Vishnu is asking forgiveness from the Kumaras for the ignorance of his servants. I'll read again. To me, the Brahman is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen. Now, a materialistic mindset, think I put on tilak and I'm a devotee, so if I make a mistake or my offense, then it goes to Krishna. That itself is an offense to the holy name, to commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting. But the Srimad Bhagavatam, we require, the proper attitude and the proper guidance, education, and training by the acharyas and their purports and in the world today to understand what this actually means to us. And he continues that if we're calling ourselves devotees, if we're feeling ourselves devotees, if we have any desire to actually love and please Krishna, we'll be even more than being attentive to not make offenses because it's bad for me and I'll suffer. We actually have affection for Krishna. More than that is we won't make offenses because it's a blemish because it hurts Krishna. Krishna will take responsibility. A very, very illusion neophyte will think, yes, let Krishna ask forgiveness for what I have done. But for a sincere devotee, nothing could be more heartbreaking that I've caused this pain to Krishna. Very deeply personal. Srimad Bhagavatam is taking us into the heart of the Lord. Yesterday we were having a meeting with Radha Gopinath Temple Brahmachari Ashram, and we were remembering Srila Prabhupada, where he would cite that if we serve the devotees nicely, sincerely, then Srimati Radharani will approach Krishna and she will say that please accept this devotee because this devotee is giving pleasure to your devotees. This devotee is better than me. And Srila Prabhupada emphasizes, she's not just saying that, she's feeling this. She's feeling that if somebody's serving her servants, that devotee is better than her. And she's presenting this devotee to Krishna in that spirit. And in this verse, in a similar way, when a devotee, obviously Jai and Vijay were very sincere devotees, but when they make an offense, the Lord himself takes responsibility for his servants. And the Lord himself is asking forgiveness. If they're my servants, I have to take responsibility. And knowing that that's the spirit of the Lord, how much we should take responsibility, not to put him in that situation. It's a very, very important lesson. We are not Jai and Vijay, but still, there's lessons that we are meant to apply to our own lives. And the next verse is very frightening for some of us. This is Vishnu speaking. A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master. Just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all of the skin. And I am going to read the purport by Srila Prabhupada. A Vaishnav, therefore, should be fully qualified. As stated in the Bhagavatam, anyone who has become a Vaishnav has developed all the good qualities of the demigods. There are 26 qualifications mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. A devotee should always see that his Vaishnav qualities increase with the advancement. A devotee should always see that his Vaishnav qualities increase with the advancement of his Krishna consciousness. A devotee should be blameless because any offense by the devotee is a scar on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's duty is to be always conscious in his dealings with others, especially with another devotee of the Lord. The next verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead speaks, anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. Lord Vishnu, the Lord of Vaikuntha, standing beside Lakshmi Devi, is telling the four Kumaras, he's not only begging forgiveness for the offense committed by Jai and Vijay, taking responsibility because he's their master, but he's also saying, to atone for their offense, I'm willing to cut off my own arm. In fact, he says, I will not hesitate to cut off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. And the Lord is explaining that those devotees who are sincerely hearing and chanting his glories, how very, very dear such devotees are to the Lord. Srila Prabhupada writes, the conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means. The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotee, even if there is a need to cut off part of his own body. And then we come to today's verse. The Lord continued, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that the goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her, and others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. This verse is meant to truly humble us. Whatever abilities we have, whatever resources we have, whatever compassion we have, everything is by the grace of Krishna. We're insignificant part and parcels of Krishna. Krishna is the complete whole, the intelligence of the intelligent, the strength of the strong, the ability in everyone. And the quality of a Vaishnava is to recognize the root of so much conflict in this world is we want to be enjoyers, we want to be controllers, we want to be proprietors. We have this insatiable need to take credit. And sometimes it's just painful for somebody else to get credit if we do something. And it's painful to take when somebody else gets credit for something we didn't do. This is the false ego. But Krishna, who's giving us everything. We may be good cooks, we may be good pujaris, we may be good fathers or mothers, we may be good students, we may be good preachers, we may be good scholars. But a devotee gives all credit to his gurus and to Krishna. And here is the personality of Godhead who's giving everything to everyone. And he's giving all credit for his exalted position to his devotees. And he's speaking about an individual devotee too. For a sincere devotee of the Lord is explaining, the dust of my lotus feet could, because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And he means it. This isn't just poetry. This is the nature of God. He's not just all-powerful, but even beyond his all-powerfulness is the power of his love. And to the extent Srila Prabhupada is describing in previous purport we have read, that as we're making advancement in Krishna consciousness, it's necessary that we're developing Vaishnava qualities. And this is at the very heart of Vaishnava qualities. Not to be craving credit, but very eager to do the best we can do. The Lord is the creator, the maintainer, and annihilator of everything that exists within material creation. And the Lord is the supreme object of ecstasy and the giver of all ecstasy in the spiritual worlds. And just by chanting his holy names, we could become purified of all sins. And the Lord is feeling, I have that power because I serve my devotees. In other words, how we're supposed to appreciate the Lord's devotees. And I have acquired such a disposition. The Lord is so all-attractive that the goddess of fortune never leaves him. And he's giving such a beautiful analogy that in the material world, everyone is doing penances and austerities, and they're praising the beauty of the goddess of fortune, and they're observing sacred vows just to secure a slight bit of her favor. And Krishna doesn't do any of that, and yet she never leaves him. Why? Because he has a disposition that has come about as a result of his service to his devotees. This is just, I'm sorry if this section of the Bhagavatam is so incredibly instructive. And what we find here, I'll read the next verse, then I'll express what we're finding here. Lord Vishnu says, I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrifices in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmins, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities, and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds, along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava on my head, in other words, I'm going to read again. I am the master. I'm actually reading from my own purification. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds, along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of a Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? The Lord is so pure. The entire spiritual world is under his control. And the Ganges water, which purifies the world, is so pure because it has touched his feet. And even Lord Shiva is purified. And he's describing, if that's who I am, and yet he's longing to take the dust of the feet of a Vaishnava on his head, who will refuse to do the same? If a devotee truly wants to have realization by the grace of Shri Radha Gopinath of the spiritual world, an inseparable part of our sadhana is to imbibe an appreciation for how much we are depending on the Lord's mercy, and how the Lord's mercy comes upon us according to our Vaishnava qualities, and specifically how we interact and deal with others. And very specifically in this story, by not judging people according to their external designations. And Lord Vishnu is speaking this in Srimad Bhagavatam. And as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his whole life is to come to actually live these principles that he's speaking. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came in the mood of the servant of his own servants. Vrindavan Das Thakur in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat declares that I'm none different than my holy name. And the holy name of the Lord has the greatest power to purify someone. But if someone is speaking ill against a devotee of the Lord who is dear to the Lord, Krishna said, with the same mouth that he's chanting the holy name, that if he's speaking against devotees with that mouth, then the holy name itself will punish him. And then Mahaprabhu proclaims, if you just do two things, I will take you back to Godhead. Always chant the holy names of the Lord and do not commit offenses and criticize others. So of course, great acharyas, they don't criticize. They speak the truth about, for our benefit. Sometimes they chastise. But what is so important is the motive. The ego wants to justify everything. But if there is false ego involved, if there is envy involved, then what for a great personality would be a very merciful correction, it could be an aparad. So we should be very, very conscious. And this is only the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want to have realizations of the 10th canto, we should understand that we have some ways to go. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So it's a great pleasure to announce that two devotees have decided to come together in Grihastha Ashram with the blessings of their parents. Can I ask Rajesh Toshniwal Prabhu to stand up, please? So Rajesh Prabhu is actually from Sambhaji Nagar. He is a chartered accountant by profession, and amazingly, he's from a devotee family. They got connected in 2014. So his mother, father, brother, and sister-in-law all are devotees. He is himself engaged in kirtan seva, flower decoration seva, vessel cleaning, etc. in the temple kitchen. And the special feature is that his family has cows at his home, and the family is doing go seva. So, yeah. Can I ask Anita Giri Mataji to stand up? So, Anita Mataji is a graduate from Mumbai. She is working outside in Goregaon. Her parents are from Ayodhya, and she got connected to ISKCON Chowpatty in 2022 and is being nicely sheltered under Radhapati Prabhu and Lalita Priya Mataji. She's engaged in festival deity kitchen, Maha cleaning seva under the guidance. She also participates in kirtan seva at the Chetna festival. She also performs seva in deity kitchen, various other sevas in GEV, and she's also engaged in book distribution seva in the local trains. So both these wonderful devotees are here today only to seek the blessings of not only Radha Gopinath ji and Guru Maharaj, but all the Vaishnavas assembled here. So may I request all that, from the bottom of our hearts, that we can pray to Krishna and give them the blessings that they seek by loudly chanting 3 times. HariBol, HariBol, HariBol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today, with Sri Sri Radha Gopinath and Srila Prabhupada's mercy, I will be going to Calcutta. And for those of you who may not be there, on the 17th, on Gadadhar Pandit's appearance day, there will be a very historical offering where the Bhakti Bhavan, the house of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, will be inaugurated. Bhakti Vinod Thakur moved into this house with his family in the year 1882. And it was one of his primary homes where he had printing press. In 1896, he published Sri Chaitanya, His Life and Precepts, and sent it all over the world. First time Lord Chaitanya's teachings were sent outside of India in the English language. And when he was renovating the house, he found a Shalagram Shila of Kurma, and he gave that Shila to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Bimala Prasad when he was just about 7 or 8 years old. That Shila is still there. And the Govardhan Shila that was given to him by Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is still in the house. Jagannath Das Babaji's Bhajan Kutir in Calcutta is still in that house. And so many of Bhakti Vinod Thakur's diaries, photo albums and his japa mala have been preserved by his family ever since then. And he and his good wife, Bhagavati Devi, both lived primarily in that house for so many years, and they both departed from that world, from this world, from that house. And just about a year or so ago, the descendants of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, they gave the house into the care of Srila Prabhupada's devotees in Calcutta. And for almost a year, there's been almost day and night renovations. And in a few days, it will be, for the first time since the time of Bhaktivinoda, it will be open to the public and to the whole community of devotees as a memorial, as a museum, as a place of satsang and meditation, and as a library of the life and precepts of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And on Akshaya Tritiya, April 20th, there will be the groundbreaking ceremony, Bhumi Puja, at the exact spot of the birthplace of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, under the jackfruit tree. In 1977, Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter that he desired a memorial built for him in that place. And it's now 49 years. And on the 17th of April, for the first time in all these years, we're actually going to do the groundbreaking to begin that memorial for Srila Prabhupada. So my great joy is that we all share this beautiful offering, because it's not just one or two or three people. There may be certain devotees, especially Radharaman Prabhu, Dairam Prabhu, and others who have really given their hearts, and Nanga Mohan Prabhu. But it's actually all of us, all of our community and our whole movement that's making this beautiful offering for generations to come, to recognize, to appreciate, to worship, to serve, and to receive the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And then on the 22nd, I go to London and then America. So before departing, I pray to Srila Prabhupada, all of our previous acharyas, Shri Nitai Gaurachandra, Shri Gopalji, Shri Radha Gopinath, Lalita Vishaka. They bestow their mercy and their blessings and their grace and their love upon all of you. and that they empower you to help create a community that really is the spiritual world of Goloka Vrindavan. Thank you very much. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Astatyate Satarine. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone together. HariBol, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, everyone. Hari Rama, Hari Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, HariBol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everyone. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, HariBol, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. HariBol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Please raise your arms as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. We call out the names of Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, reaching out for their shelter. And reaching out for their shelter upon all beings in this troubled world. Many, many thousands of times louder from our hearts, from our souls. Together let us chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, many millions and millions of times louder. With as much devotion as we could offer. Everyone, please. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. param dristva nivartate. When we develop, by Krishna's grace, a submissive, receptive, humble, and sincere heart, Krishna gives us this higher taste to experience His all-attractive, supremely loving presence in this Maha Mantra. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The most beautiful, most precious, most beneficial of all gifts we can offer to each other and to the world is Radharani and Sri Krishna's presence in their holy names. Everyone together, please. Many, many millions and trillions of times louder with great feeling. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time. Wait. I'll begin and you all join in. Let this be the loudest mantra to resound within the universe. Let the Pancha Tattva in Sri Mayapur Dham hear us clearly, to give them pleasure. Everyone, please, very, very, very sincere, very loud, with deeply grateful hearts, let us chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, let us try one more time. There's also a Panchatattva in Laguna Beach, California, and in Hawaii. Let us give them a beautiful mantra they could clearly hear, so we may dance with them. Everyone, please. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Panchatattva also eternally resides in Krishna Loka, in this spiritual world. Everyone, for their pleasure, for the purification of all beings. Wait one moment. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gauda Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Go Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe. Vanshakaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Ananti Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Sri Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. So, we are living the moments again, how Maharaj used to give wonderful classes and then beautiful kirtans at the end. And he is doing it on his departure time to the west. We are so grateful to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj for giving us such depth of jewels from Srimad Bhagavatam and in taking us in the Mahaprabhu's Leela by this intense chanting. So words are very less to express our gratitude, but we can 3 times loudly chant HariBol to express our gratitude. Jai. Jai. Thank you very much, Maharaj.